Skinnamarinky, dinky, dink, Skinnamarinky, doo. I
And there's
love
emotions,
you.
too.
Yeah. And then there was the glory hole scene. Remember that?
The what?
No, I'm just kidding. I said, and then there was the glory hole scene.
I think they did that. Is that what you said?
They did not do a glory hole scene in Skinnamarinky Dinky Doo.
Wait, but they did have this creepy fucking mouse.
Skinnamarinky.
Ugh. How fucking scary is that? And she's in the
She's
freaking
sleeping,
bedroom
dude.
at night.
The fuck? Skinnamarinky-a-doo? Skidamarink? That's not the right fucking one.
See, I told you, we sing is fucking scary.
We grew up on lies. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I totally am.
Wait, one second.
I'll do the intro. Hi, everybody. My name is Peter Feliciano, and welcome to CONSERVATISH episode 110. I'm really excited for this episode because we've got Mike Harlow, yay, on the show today. Please go buy my album. I'm very, very good and super humble. It's on Spotify, iTunes, blah, blah, blah. It's just my name, Peter Feliciano, Feliciano. You can find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano. You can subscribe, like this video, go right now, subscribe. There's a new episode every Monday. It's available on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, temporarily. I'm going to delete that shit. YouTube, everywhere. What else? Oh, you can support this podcast and my musical endeavors at patreon.com/conservatish. And yeah, thank you very much. Are you ready? Do you want another minute? You can take another minute.
Sorry, I thought you were like...
No, I'm
I was trying to get my hair right.
First things first. Why do you have that face floating around a brave heart?
It's the screens. It's the Roku, the screensaver.
Did you watch the movie? I didn't watch.
Is that the Angelina Jolie one?
No, I think that's one with a weird face. That lady who has like a broken face or like
She's a broken face.
a brave heart. Yeah, she's got a broken face. Unlike people like you and I who are perfect out of the womb.
Boom.
High five. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Harlow. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
I've seen you do interviews before, and I intentionally. I was thinking about. I try to intentionally do as little research as possible for some things because I don't want to be just like a regular like Steven Kraut. No offense to anyone who has interviewed you in the past or whatever, but like my stilo is much more just conversational, and I say faggot and I say bad, horrible things.
Totally same.
Right, but like I would just wanted to get down to the humanity of a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
that's what I really like. So, but you are one of those people I kept, I moved just now from San Francisco about 3 weeks ago to New York.
You just moved.
I just fucking moved.
That's crazy. I thought you'd been here for years or something.
No. Well, I was born in Long Island, but I moved out to the Bay when I was like 9. So I've been out in California mostly since then. But I wanted to, I've known you since getting introduced to Justin Buchanan, I think. He saw me at a show I did for a music show I did at a gay benefit at some point, like 4 years ago.
Fucking insufferable. Gay benefit. What was the benefit?
Nice people. They're nice people.
Save the queers.
Save the queers, exactly. And then through that, I saw his walk away video was my first one where I was like, oh shit. Like, this motherfucker who I kind of know or had seen at a show years ago that's some brave-ass shit. I mean, it's not as brave now because, I mean, even though the consequence is still worse even, but, like, coming out back then as a conservative was like, oh, my God, like, this motherfucker. And so I had to, he invited me to the page, and then I saw you, and I saw Lily Yakupova, who I've had on the show as well, and would love to get Brandon at some point, but all you guys were really interesting and intriguing to me in your stories, and because it honestly, a lot of them tally mine. A lot of them are similar to mine, where I was like, of course I'm liberal, of course I'm pro-choice, of course I'm this, of course I'm, and then I really the door, the I hate the phrase, the red pill. But like the fucking red pill for me was Dum Dum Milo when I saw him, and I was like, everybody's like saying he's the devil. Let me do a little bit of research, and even a little bit of research in 2016. I was like, this nigga's fine. Like, it's not that big a fucking deal. Like, and then I got more into, like, my favorites, over the years have been, like, Jordan Peterson and, Steven Crowder and Ben Shapiro and Camille Paglia. Do you ever listen to Camille?
Boom!
Camille's my fucking
Amazonian
heart, dude.
goddess.
I love that fucking chick. I would love, and the
love
way
her
she
so much.
talks too is so like,
Yes. Like she's on speed.
Yeah, and her fucking rant against. If you haven't seen Camille Paglia, Paglia,
Who hasn't seen? If you haven't seen her, like,
you're
change
a bad
your
person.
life.
Really. Her rant on Lena Dunham is
I know.
majestic. It's fucking beautiful.
And the thing that she did, her and Christina Hoff Sommers.
Yes,
Two
also very, very,
queens.
very good. And her and Jordan, the talk she had with Jordan was one of the, like, I was just like, the both of them use so many words that I don't even know what the fuck they are. So I would have to pause it every couple of minutes. Like, what's tertiary? But
By the way, parentheses, is it too early to be day drinking?
No. Do your fucking thing. I don't give a shit. I've got my Powerade Zero or Vitamin Water Zero. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So part of the thing for me was you've got banned from Twitter recently.
Yes, I have.
So can you delve into that experience and what that was from their definition versus yours and etc.
They have no definition. I mean, with all of these, and I think this is something that we see, especially on YouTube also, is that even if you want to be like, hey, I want to follow the rules, tell me what they are. There are no rules.
Right.
They can't tell you anything. On my YouTube videos, when I try to figure out, I will go through them with a fine-tooth comb trying to figure out what terms could I have possibly broken that everything is demonetized. And you write to them and you ask them, no answer.
Hold the mic a little closer to your face.
Sorry.
That's all. So yeah, you write to them, you ask them, and you don't hear a definitive
nothing.
answer.
So the first reason I was given by Twitter for being banned was I was evading a permanent suspension. I never had a permanent suspension.
No emails, no communication
Nothing.
before then.
That's
Okay.
the only account I've ever had. Then I was then the second one was they said I was managing multiple accounts for abusive purposes. I don't have multiple accounts.
Okay.
Then finally, a day later, they dug up a tweet from maybe 3 or 4 months prior where like just a sarcastic remark where I was defending someone.
Okay.
No hate speech, no nothing. And then now that's my reason for being permanently banned.
Okay.
And actually, this girl, who you'd actually like her, you should check her out, Diana Death. She's this awesome punk goddess queen.
I like the name.
Yeah, she's great. But so anyway, her last tweet was defending me, and then she was banned. And so a day later, they gave her the reason that she called Hillary Clinton a crazy hag. And that's why she's banned. But I mean, think of all the people every single day that say the most violent shit about Trump, about
shit.
Republicans.
Threats, literal
Just Tom
threats.
Arnold alone.
Right. Yeah, the sexual stuff, the worser stuff for me, although threats are illegal and you shouldn't threaten nobody, the worser ones for me are when motherfuckers like what they did to Gavin maybe a year ago. Some guy on Facebook was like, here's Gavin's personal cell phone number, have at it. And then
They did that to Blair, too.
Right, and
Then it
people
was
just
banned.
blew up Gavin's phone and just
They gave her address, too. People showed up at her house.
Although that guy initially, he took down the post, he was never banned from Facebook. He was never taken off. He was never no problem at all.
Well, and the point that I keep coming back to also is that their excuse for everything, their excuse to control the world, their excuse for everything is fighting hate. We have to fight hate. But if you look at the people who are not banned from Twitter, David Duke, Louis Farrakhan, Richard Spencer, actual hateful people.
Yeah.
Louis, exterminate the Jews, Farrakhan is not banned, and I am.
Right.
And I think it's very deliberate. I think that they want you to think that the only potential points of view in this world are either radical leftism or white supremacy. As if those are your only choices.
I don't understand why. At the very least, I can understand, although I don't agree, but I can understand from their perspective why they wouldn't shut down Farrakhan because black equals good. But I don't understand why they wouldn't get David Duke off there.
Because they want to keep that alive. They want to keep that out there. They want you to think that voting for Democrats is the only thing standing between you and Nazis at your front door.
I see.
I mean, look at this moral panic about Nazis. How many Nazis have you met in your life?
Right. Okay. I would like at some point I mean, with fans of this show, they understand. I wouldn't actually invite a Nazi on the show, but I'd like to talk to the motherfucker. Because
Totally.
I like humanizing mother. That's the whole goal of the show by calling it conservatish.
You're giving them a platform.
Yeah, exactly. Not giving them a fucking. Oh, by the motherfucking way, just to go on a rant right quick. I was having a conversation with a guy I've done music with over the years. I won't say what genre because that would give him away. But I had.
How would the genre give him away? What's he, like fucking Conway Twitty?
No. But actually, yeah, it was hip hop. Let's just say that.
How does
so
that
I had.
give him away?
I have a small community. All right, goddamn it. No. I had a conversation with him a few weeks ago where he was saying, well, he kind of intimated that you've kind of been banned or you've kind of been canceled in the Bay Area in some and I realized like this is his perspective, but in reality, what canceled really meant was a few, number one, white, number two, hip hop acquaintances, not fucking friends, have unfriended me. So a few white hip hop acquaintances have unfriended me. That's canceled. Like that people that I really honestly wouldn't even fucking work with anymore anyway, most of them.
Well, just even the fact that they use that term shows how authoritarian their entire mentality is and how delusional they are, because what power do you have canceled? Are you God? Are you a network executive? You don't have the power to cancel anybody. Sit down, bitch.
Right. Louis C.K. just announced a tour, which I'm really
good
happy
for him.
about. Right. They can't really take people away, and they
try.
They fucking try. And Jim and Sam, I listen to them a lot, and one of the things they were talking about this morning was that, well, I mean, if you're coming up, if you're one of these people who isn't a Louis C.K. or Dave Chappelle or whatever, you might have a more rocky. You can't say whatever you want, and I'm just going into this fucking. I'm at the beginning of my career, and I'm just going in swinging, just saying fuck it. You know, I'd rather be super fucking open, too open.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like two things I won't say, and I'll keep for my spiritual advisors, and my fucking friends. Outside of that, like I'm an open book because I don't want to be.
Same.
I don't want to be accidentally people find out I said the N word or the F word. I don't want people accidentally to find out, oh, he fucking talked about liking incest porn. It's like, you know what? Listen, like I came into this game, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, I'm the same way. I think you kind of have to be. Well, that's what pisses me off so much, because when they dig up whatever ridiculous, innocuous little things they could find that I said, you can look through my friggin' text messages. You can sit with me in private. Who I am in private is the exact same as who I am in public. And I think that's the difference between people like us and a lot of these social justice warriors is, in my experience, a lot of them, these white people who are ranting about racism, you get them alone for 5 fucking minutes and they're more racist than any of us.
Yeah, especially the low expectation thing. That's a legit. That's a legit thing. I went to Joker last night. It was good.
I still haven't seen it. I really want to.
His performance was fucking phenomenal. But the movie itself was like,
really?
It was good. It was good.
I had no interest in seeing it until I was told I wasn't supposed to.
Oh, really?
And now I have to see it.
Oh, because of the you're going to turn into a incel or whatever. And the movie previews for the movie previews were like almost every movie was like, look at how bad white men are. That's like the overarching theme of the 2020 movie preview season is all like black people and women can't do anything evil, and even if they do, it's because a white man did something to them first. So even Stevens, you know what I mean? Like that's essentially what they're fucking saying, and that's actually racist. Why can't we have a black Hannibal Lecter? Why can't we have a woman ranting about the fucking what's her stupid name, Betty Davis or whatever, the no wire hangers.
Joan Crawford.
Joan Crawford was just a dirty ass bitch because she was a dirty ass bitch. They didn't need to go. It's because the white man did something to her when she was a child. You didn't know any backstory about fucking Hannibal Lecter. He just was nuts. Why can't we have interest? And Hannibal Lecter is one of the most valuable characters in the world. You know what I mean? Why can't we have a black character who's just fucking ass evil?
Well, and also Clarice Starling, they didn't impound it into your head. She's a woman. She is a strong, powerful woman.
Right.
No, she just is.
Right. I mean, there were a couple of times where she was running and like uncomfortable dudes would make a pass.
But that was realistic. They showed you. They didn't that's probably what in that era those women had to deal with. So it was just an honest depiction. They didn't shove down your throat. She is a woman.
Right.
I think that's the difference between women and women.
so heavy.
Because all these characters today, they are strong women.
Right. Yeah, actually, the guy I had on last, Matthew Banks, he's a New York comedian. And
I was just watching that.
Yeah, he talked about how his Asian girlfriend, she's an independent, strong woman, but she despises when women have to fucking say that constantly. She's like, why can't you just be a woman and a strong, independent woman all by yourself without a fucking audience?
Telling people you're strong is like telling people you're funny or telling people you're famous. If you have to say it.
I feel guilty. No. Where do you find it? That's an interesting question, completely off of politics. Where do you find, from your experience, obviously you do a different type of thing. What would you define your career as so far?
Oh, God, I don't even know. I don't know what the hell I do anymore.
Are you like a political pundit, would you say?
Oh, God, no. I don't know.
You wouldn't call yourself an activist of any
kind. No, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Don't listen to me. If you listen to me, you're crazier than I am.
But you work with the Walkaway campaign.
Yes. I mean, I guess maybe activist. I don't know. I consider myself, and this is a very douchey word to say. So
do it. You're on the right podcast.
I would say an artist is closer in line because there's that quote about how intellectuals will say simple things in a very complicated way, and artists will say complicated things in a simple way.
Okay, I like that.
So I'm sort of like, Star Wars aside, I love Carrie Fisher, that I kind of just want to have that sort of career and write what I want to write and do what I want to do, and I just want to sort of carve out my own path, I guess.
Right.
Because I've done, I mean, we maybe have a bit of a similar background because I started singing and touring in punk bands when I was like 16, 17.
Yeah.
Then did that for a bit, and then I was acting for a bit, but I hate actors so fucking much. Like I want to act in my own stuff. Were you acting in
New York or in LA?
Just everywhere, just actors in general. They're like used car salesmen. They're fucking awful. I want to act in my own stuff, but I just have absolutely no interest in. But that's kind of why like I said, I just want to make what I want to make, which is why I'm building my own production company and platform for entertainment that's subversive and transgressive. So it'll be films, series, documentaries, comedy specials, hopefully concert specials someday, like an entire network.
So
basically.
You'll be like the Tyler Perry of queer conservatives. That's what you'll be. You'll have the subversive umbrella or whatever, I mean? Like you'll produce other. That's good.
But it's not just for conservatives. My vision for it is something where you could have, for example, Jon Stewart at 8 o'clock and Steven Crowder at 9 o'clock. Like the only requirement basically for having something on this platform would be it's something that the corporate studios wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole.
Right. Have you ever heard of Compound Media?
No.
Compound Media.
Don't tell me they're already doing
that. A little bit. They Anthony Cumia, who is the half of the Opie and Anthony show in New York for years. He was fired from Sirius for tweets back in July of 2014. And what happened from him is he had already been starting his kind of live from the bunker show. And so he made a whole platform, a Compound Media. And so now Chrissy Mayer's on there.
What's it, like radio?
He had Gavin McInnes on there. No, it's a show at compoundmedia.com. So he has slots for different people who host shows. Chrissy Mayer's one of them. Gavin McInnes used to have one.
It's like this kind of thing. Okay, well, my thing will be like scripted, like film, like basically indie Netflix, offensive Netflix, whatever. Films, TV series, like an entire network of stuff.
What's Ketflix? I keep seeing that on K-E-T Ketflix.
Sounds like some junky shit.
I don't know. You're connected to the young people.
I've never heard of that.
Old, so I don't know.
So am I.
You're like what?
Don't die. Shut up. Lady does not reveal her age.
The gay comes out. Finally.
Yes. I'll claw your fucking eyes out, bitch.
So when you were born in 1967, no. So your experience was you did a tweet. You got that message from Twitter, and what's the next step? They just said you're banned. You didn't get any suspended. Have you ever been suspended?
Once because I called somebody a moron. I was suspended for a week. Yep. And it was literally
who was the wrong somebody?
Well, it was literally somebody who just makes new accounts to fucking harass me on every minute, 100 messages a day, sending me pictures of the Holocaust, photoshopping my picture in Holocaust pictures. Called me every name in the world, and so literally
former lover.
He wishes. And so I'll block one account and then the next one will pop up, which is against their terms of service, but I report them and no violation.
Happens, right.
So after a couple weeks of 100 messages a day of this, I lost my cool and called him a fucking moron or something. So yeah, I was suspended for that. But other than
a private message, or was it?
No, it was a tweet. So that was it. Very coincidentally, the day before my ban, the last things I was tweeting about were all about radical gender ideology and the 97 genders and transgenderism and all these sacred deities that you're not allowed to question. Right. So I think that had something to do with it. But yeah, no, I literally just woke up the next morning and I was banned.
I want to talk about the trans thing because for me, I'm friends with a trans comic who I love to death. At the same time, it was she was a he who decided that really she felt like a she. She had the transition surgery and she whatever. In our conversation, because I had her on the show, in our conversation, we never got really into the deep insanity that's going on. But most of my experience with people in trans have been people most of the time who are male, who feel female and want to live as a female, and so they transition or they start the transition process or they whatever. And I'm all for people living how they want to fucking live. I'm libertarian as shit.
Yeah.
Like, cut off your pee-pee. It doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? But the nut jobs who think that I'm XYZ or who don't understand when there's confusion at the start. You know what I mean? Like they still have a male bone structure, male hair sometimes, male dress, male dick swinging, like, and yet and then if you confuse accidentally and say, "Sir," it's man, they get mad at you, right? They get mad at you for being a human being, and I don't like that shit. You know what I mean?
And it's funny. One time I was in a situation where somebody literally, it was at a party, and a friend's house party, and somebody literally had a name tag that their pronouns are they them,
right?
And here's the thing, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. No. I don't want to get into a brawl at a friggin' party.
Whatever.
So even if you have every intention of the world of calling this singular man they them, you can't. It just doesn't come out of your mouth because you've been speaking in a grammatically correct way your entire life, that you can't just translate that every moment in your head. It doesn't come out. You're constantly saying they them. It doesn't happen.
The intention is what continue.
I'm sorry, go on.
The intention is what really flips the difference for me. People who get mad about misgendering or saying a foul joke or whatever, they make believe that they don't get context. They make believe that intention doesn't matter. If I accidentally misgender somebody, I'm not fucking doing it on fucking purpose, and I trust that people would be adult enough, even if they are cutting off their pee-pee, to understand like, oh, this is just somebody who doesn't get. I'll just say, actually, I'm going as a. Oh, okay, cool. You know what I mean? It's not the same thing, but like I'm half Puerto Rican and half part German, English, and a little bit of black. So people don't know what the fuck I am. You know what I mean? So often, mostly Latin people will be like, "Are you Chinese? Are you Mexican? Are you white? What the fuck are you?" And I understand it's different, kind of. But like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, if someone misraces me, like I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like I don't care.
Yet they can mispolitic us every minute because how many of them will tell you you're far right, you're alt right, you're a Nazi, you're But that's perfectly fine. I thought it was a big no-no in the alphabet people to tell someone what they are, what they identify as,
or what their goddamn intentions are.
Oh, of course, they're
assuming
mind readers. They're fucking Miss Cleo.
It's bullshit.
But here's an important point I think that I want to make because think back 5 years ago, every trans person you knew, if any, were there any of these problems? Was this ever a thought in your mind? I would say no, because for me, there's never been a point in my life that I wasn't around transgender people. Didn't know what we had a family friend, and she was just a woman. Right. That's all there is to it. None of this was trans people have always existed. None of this was ever an issue until radical ideological nut jobs attached themselves to transgender people. And there are a lot of people who say, take the T out of LGBT. And I mean, I understand that to an extent because, like, for example, it feels like a bait and switch, like for a lot of gay people. Like, I just wanted to date dudes and now I'm being told I have to support sex changes for 3-year-olds. But regardless, I think that sane, rational transgender people are quickly getting pushed out of the alphabet, just like white cis gay males were.
Right, just like your friend Blair, right?
Yeah, or my friend John, or a lot of friends of mine who are trans. So I really feel like we need to have each other's backs, sane gay people and sane trans people. I think if there's any way that we are going to fight against the radical alphabet cult, the only way to accomplish that is together. And I really hate to see the amount of anti-trans sentiment that all of this insanity has created in people. And I see where they're getting it from. I don't blame them. And I think it's turned to creating anti-gay sentiment as well. And I don't blame them. I'd fucking hate us too. Like, I don't blame them. I see what their thought process is.
And not just that, or what it could be. Obviously, we don't necessarily know their intentions. I feel like ultimately people who are on the right or in the center who are they just kind of knee-jerk anti-trans or knee-jerk anti-gay. They're not really necessarily thinking through what they're talking about, because the reality is, if they...
It's the ideology.
It's the ideology, and not just that, but it's the shame that they're trying to put, that community is trying to put on them.
Yes.
It's the shame of like, okay, if you weren't telling me I was a piece of shit for being white or having a pee-pee, like, then I wouldn't be so goddamn defensive. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be so anti this or anti that or annoyed with the over. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a different thing.
Well, I mean, it is really cultish. The way there is not, and you know this because you're multiracial, so I think you could probably vouch for this, that there is no group of people on this earth that is as controlling and as cult-like as the alphabet people. Tell me I'm wrong.
Right now, yeah.
Right now at this moment in time.
That's another thing too. Go, continue.
Well, I was just gonna say, for example, Walkaway does different events targeted towards minority communities.
Right. What is Walkaway, by the way, for the people?
Walkaway is something that was started by my friend Brandon Strzok, of people walking away from the Democratic Party and the radical left and becoming whatever the hell they want. Centrist, independent, Republican, libertarian, you do you. But so anyway, so I speak on the LGBT town hall panel with Walkaway. But so they've done a bunch of events targeted towards minority communities. So they've had multiple events of the Black Americans town hall, the Hispanic town hall, the Jewish town hall. Every single one, there was no problem, not a word, no protesters, no hit pieces, no lawsuits, no venues canceling, no police shutting the street down like happened with our New York event. 2 of our 3 events were canceled, and we had to scramble last minute to find another venue. So we have our LGBT town hall, and it was like the world was ending. It was nonstop. So you don't see that coming from any other group. And I think, I think it seems very strange to a lot of people how the singular focus now of the LGBT community is on gender, and not just transgenderism, but all this ridiculous stuff with gender. And, it is a very lucrative industry. They make a lot of money by finding victimhood and pitting us all against each other. And I think it's not that the focus of the LGBT community has changed. It's that their values and principles and ethics have changed. Because if you just think about it from a business standpoint, a very small minority of people are actually gay. It's only something like 3%.
Oh, really? I thought it was like 10.
Well, if you consider people who are like getting handy J's in the airport bathroom, probably. But
I tried it a few times. It's not really my thing. Yeah.
By official count, 3%. So even if we say 5, whatever. Right. But everyone has a gender, so this allows them to cast their net wider and reach not 3% of people, but 100% of people.
And the amount of legit ass trans are also even way smaller than that.
0.3 to 6%.
Right.
So all LGBT is maybe like 5%. But everyone has a gender, so when they remake all of gender and they say anyone can be anything, that expands their reach to 100% of people. And they can find all new areas of our lives to encroach in.
Right. And not
sports, locker rooms, prisons, children, preschools, everything.
And I believe, honestly, I believe in the fact that, is that just tobacco?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
I actually don't smoke the weed.
Oh, okay. I believe, I think one of the ways that we counteract or fight this wave of horseshit is to say that I genuinely believe in the other side's ability to understand context. I absolutely do. I imbue the audience, whoever they fucking be, with the power to delineate what is true, what is a joke, what I might be wrong at, me being wrong, maybe 15 fucking or more %. But understanding that they can always change the channel, understanding that I'm trying to make a joke, understand XYZ, understanding that I say that faggot, nigger, whatever, in the right context because of jokes, not because I am malicious, not because I've had black people on my show multiple times saying thank you for saying that word.
Wow.
Because they appreciate it rather than dancing around and treating me like a fucking victim, right?
Yeah.
So they understand, and I trust that.
Sorry.
No, I'm just saying I trust the audience.
I have some friends who are black that get offended when people say the N-word. They're like, fucking say it if you're going to.
Right.
I'm like, I ain't going to, but...
Right. And I respect everybody's desire to say it or to not say it. You know, I just know I like over-the-top, crazy-ass humor, and eventually I'm going to get caught saying it. So I just decided a year ago when I started, fuck it, I'm just going to say it. One of the things as far as the trans thing, because I believe that both black people get context, trans people get context, they understand, and they don't really care. The majority, not obviously the vocal minority, but the majority of trans, black, whatever, are adults who can decide what and listen to some episodes, not listen to others, start listening to one and decide to change it and whatever. Although you should subscribe, please. I'm desperate. But also, one of the things as far as the trans thing goes, they've been saying that misgendering, that living in this world of being a different gender, has made trans people commit suicide more, and I disagree with that. And one of the things that I just thought about, because I'm so smart, was the idea that black people have been. I mean, imagine black people in the 40s and 50s and 60s. Their suicide rate wasn't off the fucking charts. They were getting hosed, attacked with dogs. You know what I mean? Like, back at the bus, separate fucking. This is. And those motherfuckers were strong enough to be like, all right, this is horseshit. We're going to fight. We're going to march. We're going to whatever. Fuck these white people. But they weren't killing themselves. And yet misgendering, feeling, understand what I'm saying?
Jews in the Holocaust did not have such a high suicide rate. But these alphabet motherfuckers try to tell you that, a trans person in 2019 who has $1 million in the bank has it worse than black people in the 1940s and 50s.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. And,
no, it is like gender dysphoria for people who truly have it is a dilapidating illness. It is very difficult, which is why we should not be encouraging it in children.
Yeah, I'm that one. See, I haven't done any research on a couple of things.
Oh, you're lucky.
Which could have been said on any episode of CONSERVATISH. But I haven't done any research on that kid, on that guy, his 7-year-old son.
It's so messed up.
What state is that? What is that going on?
If this is what's happening in Texas, imagine what's happening in New York and in California and
give
in
us
Oregon.
all, including the audience. So a trans kid wanted to have
a kid.
A kid. True. A boy feels like he's a girl.
He's been told he's a girl.
Okay.
And from the time he was 3 years old.
Does he have a mom?
Who's
in the picture?
Apparently, don't quote me on this, but I heard that apparently it's not even his biological mother, which is messed up. But yeah, so it's on tape that the father tape recorded this kid from the time he was 3 years old, saying like, "Oh, mommy tells me I'm a girl. Mommy puts me in a dress. Mommy does this." And what happens to a kid when you put them in a dress then and send them to school and everyone is like, "Oh, you're special. Oh, how lovely. Isn't this great? You're special."
Reward.
You are rewarding them for it so they will continue that. It incentivizes it. It's such a terrible thing. So yeah, the father and the family say that this kid isn't trans. The mother said he is, and a judge just ruled that he can be put on hormones and be chemically castrated. It is so sick. And here's the thing. If there were no agenda, why the need to medicalize it at such a young age? Because every trans person I know didn't start transitioning medically until they were at least 18. And they look fine. I mean, look at Blair. She doesn't look good. All these. So that and that's their only argument. Oh, they won't look as nice. That is how fucking goddamn superficial this cult is. That's more important than the health of the mental wellness of an innocent child. It really makes me so mad.
Which is insane too, because I've seen so many unattractive trans people.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I love you. You're humans. But
stunning and brave.
But that goes against their whole agenda. Like, I mean, they are so body positive to the point where to the point where everyone's just fabulous and beautiful. I have to say
Yeah.
this. I'm gonna piss off some of my fans, and I don't give a fuck.
Oh, that's what I'm here for.
Listen, Lizzo may make great music.
Oh, but remember Jabba
But
the
there's a
Hutt? No, dude, I saw this.
She
picture.
may be quote unquote
Wait.
fierce, but she is not fuckable. There's a difference. Sorry, Lizzo fans. Fierce is not fuckable. All these girls who are like amazing, reposting all these pictures of Lizzo, body positive, body positive. Okay, are you fucking a fucking 350-pound black girl? No. Well, I guess the reality comes out.
I looked her up because I didn't know who she was, and that I'm sorry, but that's like Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, dude.
Like, if you guys could see it. She just needs like the chains on her. Oh shit! Not because she's black. I didn't mean that. Like I meant in the Princess Leia way.
Yay!
Oh, this is gonna be a BuzzFeed article.
Oh, I love this. I fucking love this show. I'm so happy I get to do this fucking show. Because I believe that BuzzFeed people, by the way, just as a shout out, because I know they might be watching this or whatever, because they've really put a smear campaign on your motherfucking ass. I'm just shout out to all the BuzzFeed people. None of you know how to really fuck a woman. Like if you're a straight man, you haven't fucked. I mean, you've had sex. You may have a wife and you may have sex with her.
Say it's the Out magazine people, so they really don't. But
you
I'm
don't
sorry,
know how
that's
to
very
actually.
normative.
I'm saying put a bitch. You ever seen kink.com? Like put a bitch up against the wall by her fucking neck and make her fucking squirt all over the floor. You've never really fucked a girl. I'm just saying. And she wants that. She wants to divorce you. Anyway, sorry. Ladies and gentlemen. So that's the. See what I'm saying? This is the difference of this show. But yeah, sorry, Lizzo fans. That's not. It's just not the reality.
I did hear her song for the first time today, though, and it was
It's
delightful.
it's a great song.
Delightful.
Yeah.
But
But like,
fat boom.
she is eating
Sorry,
herself
but,
to
like,
death.
This whole love yourself thing is fucking ridiculous because I'm sorry, we cannot love everything about ourselves. Like, should I love myself for being a fucking pack-a-day chain smoker?
Right.
No, it's a terrible quality and it's something I'm working to change.
Right. You can
take-
love yourself and work to change at the same time, but
More important than love yourself.
They completely. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. They completely paced over.
Well,
that.
and especially with the alphabet people, all you hear gay kids being taught is love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. Trust me, as somebody who has to date these motherfuckers, they love themselves.
Yay!
But when this guy that I went out with a couple months ago, literally, I shit you not, had a framed picture on his nightstand of himself. They love themselves. But when was the last time you heard the gay community tell gay people, respect yourself? Exactly.
Okay. Now, respect yourself. In what context do you feel that would be most appropriate?
Anything. Don't be a fucking don't be a degenerate fucking twat. Like aspire to more than being the drunk slut at the bar until you're 40 years old.
When you were growing up doing punk shit, did you already know you were gay at that point?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you out yet, or were you?
No, not when I started.
Okay.
Because I started when I was like 16.
Yeah, I've heard a bunch of punk kids, and I've had some on the show who started playing in punk bands. Shout out Pomey, Jake, who started playing in punk bands at like 13, 14, 15. That's some hardcore shit. Was it around here? Or was it somewhere else?
Yeah. I mean, I've only lived here.
Oh, really? You're in New York? Okay.
Yeah, Manhattan.
I mean, obviously, you felt when you did come out. Did you face any anti-gay sentiment?
Yeah. It was different. That nothing like earth-shaking. But
any violence or
no? Well,
bullies at school probably no.
No. Fuck
really?
that. I'm not bullyable.
Interesting.
If people tried to bully me, they tried once.
Okay, nice.
And
so
I think because I'm easygoing and lighthearted and shit that people don't expect that from me, but like, I'm Italian. My family's in the mafia. Like, I'll fuck you up.
Right. Oh, good.
Not you.
Right. But
I didn't
okay,
mean
so
my
you
family's
have.
in the mafia. I meant like extended family.
Oh, right. Wink, wink. Okay, so where did it come from then, from your experience?
It was just like a daily fucking grind. Like it was just every single day back then. It would be some sort of issue, like just little things, even like, you'd have a straight guy friend and for me, like my friends or my bros, like, ugh, I can't see them like that. No. Or like you'd go to hug them or saying goodbye, and they're like, or they stand back or something. Like you're always like, don't fucking flatter yourself, bitch.
Right, absolutely.
But I say this because that is just not the case anymore. It is a total non-factor. in the lives of the vast majority of gay people today. It is a different planet now compared to then. It is a total and that doesn't mean that there aren't kids who are thrown out of their house or whatever. Like, of course that shit exists.
Right, especially in like Kentucky and fucking West Virginia.
Care about that.
Yeah, and absolutely. And we should try to continue that fight or whatever. But I don't believe that we have to keep the door open so wide, which is what we all do as humans, but we want to keep the door open so wide to help the little kid in Kentucky that we say you're not even allowed to, that every time, that there should be a 21 gun salute, as that fucking, as that quote goes, every time a gay guy walks down the street, like, or no matter what your decision is, because you're black or because you're trans or because you're gay, we're just, yay, no matter how it hurts other people, no matter how it really essentially is taking away the fucking free speech of individuals outside of your fucking body.
Well, and I'll tell you what's very ironic too. What's that?
Or inside. We'll talk about abortion
baby.
maybe a little. Anyway, continue.
Well, I'll tell you also, when I was that age, the biggest reason, the only reason mainly that that I didn't want to come out, that made me fearful, was that once I did, I was afraid that I would only ever be seen as the gay guy. And all of my individuality would just be stripped away, and I would just be gay. And that would be the number one and only quality about me. And it's so wonderful that we've finally gotten past that in our society.
Right.
And now these leftist identitarian motherfuckers want to bring us right back to that place where black people are judged by being black, gay people are judged by being gay, and your immutable traits are your defining traits. It's horrible.
Right. And also it's flat and it's boring. And the reality is, like I was saying earlier when it came to the villain thing, the reason why Hannibal Lecter is so valuable is because he's got layers. Is that he's this vile, evil creature, but he also, that multiple Migs who threw cum into fucking what's-her-face's face, he talked that motherfucker into swallowing his own fucking tongue. He killed that motherfucker for Clarice. He's
very chivalrous, really.
Right, exactly. He's
Fellas,
trying to
be more like Hannibal Lecter.
Exactly.
It'd be an improvement over some of them.
I've been like Buffalo Bill at certain times, but only consensually. Don't worry. Put lotion. Anyway, but like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's layers to that, and these people who are making all these movies about these poor black people can't do anything better is so fucking racist. Like, it's so flat and it's so boring and it's so like, it's not intriguing. It's not interesting. It's not. There's no depth. There's no fucking conflict. There's no inner turmoil or self-torture. It's just all the white man did this, and now I'm doing this to either defend myself against the white man or to make it even Stevens against the white man, or well, I have a blank check because I had a bad childhood.
There has to be
over
an
and
expiration
over
date for how long people can talk about
That's
their fucking
what I'm
childhood.
fucking saying. Because Larry Elder is fucking out there. Thomas Sowell is out there. They're black as fuck. They grew up in hard ass fucking shit, and yet they're saying fuck welfare. They're saying stop with the bullshit and the free speech. We like Trump. Like the whole identity politics is bullshit. It's horrible for people.
Yeah, it's funny. A friend of mine went to a film festival and he was telling me about, and he didn't realize it was like an LGBT XYZ LMNOP film festival.
Yes,
and he said every fucking film where these kids and they're gay and their parents are just like the most monstrous fucking people. Get out of my house. You're not my son.
Right.
And then you see them like packing their one little suitcase and walking for miles to the bus station. And whose fucking parents are like that? Mine are. I wish mine were like that. I always tell my dad, I'm like, why the fuck did you have to be so accepting? Couldn't you have like given me,
beat me a couple of times. Shit,
Yeah, a little jolt, tie batteries to your nipples.
Exactly.
Little electricity on your dilly whacker. I'm like, because now I have to date these fucking people and they're horrible.
Yeah.
Couldn't you send me to fucking conversion therapy?
But problems, I really believe create better. Like we've seen the tired trope. By the way, the cord sometimes when we push it makes this weird.
Oh, sorry.
It's not your fault. It's my.
When I was just saying my bad, I just feel all fucking tangled in it by the end.
But we've seen the tired trope of the frat kid, Joker. We've seen the tired trope of the redneck. We've seen the tired trope of the cop, and we've seen the tired trope of the businessman who just doesn't get it. Like, I am sick of those 4. I am sick of over and over every demon. Why can't I mean, I feel like Tyler Perry is the only person as boring as because I've never really seen a Tyler Perry movie
either.
But from the previews, it's black people having conflict with other black people.
Yeah.
Refreshing.
Yeah,
and not
I
just,
actually respect him a lot.
Yeah,
if you see what he's done with his studio, it's such a great metaphor against all the things that these leftists talk about, because he came from nothing. He came from poverty. He was homeless. He was sleeping in his car.
He was molested. He was fucking right.
Abused. And now he owns the street where he slept in his car. Right. He owns the entire city. That's his own studio. It's amazing. Right. And so I don't know. I think maybe we need that. In the black community, they could use a little more Tyler Perry and a little less Al Sharpton.
Well, it's the same thing with trans, I feel.
Oh, and gay too. Absolutely.
When you constantly hear the phrase "I'm special" or "I'm a victim," it does something bad for us. I believe in our souls. If I don't have personal responsibility, it's like a warm blanket that's killing me. But it's like a warm blanket, and motherfuckers, like, even in this move, I'm not going to say I'm a goddamn hero. Although I am. You're welcome, cocksuckers. But like I need to go through the struggle of being on that lonely walk in a new fucking town with a new time zone with no, and I've gotten some friends and some amazing connections. But I kind of have to be like but exactly. And I kind of have to be willing to just say, all right, fuck it. You know what? This is going to be hard for a little while, and I'm going to have to suck it up and pull up my bootstraps because I want X. Because I have a goal in mind. And if you're going to pull yourself up out of poverty, out of all kinds of shit, you're going to have to eat shit for a little while. And it's not going to, and someone telling me that, oh, poor Pete. What's my main fucking thing going to be? I'm going to want to go, yeah, poor me. Let me move back with my fucking, with my fucking parents or some other bullshit. Like, no, I want to grab myself by the balls and just do adult shit because there's more value in it. And I can. I don't want to be kowtowed to. I don't want fucking charity. No. You know what I mean? Like,
well, this whole thing about the marginalized is really like the intellectual mentality equivalent of living with your parents. Yeah. Don't you think?
Right.
It's just so harmful. It is so toxic for people. I cringe every time I hear that phrase, marginalized people. Right. I'm like, I'm not fucking marginalized. It's like I said before. If somebody tried to bully me, they tried once. If somebody tries to marginalize me, I refuse.
Right. And not just that, but it changes from not just country to country, but from state to state. A black kid growing up like fucking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is different than a black has it better off than a white kid in welfare ass dirty ass Alabama. You know what I mean? Like there's a just because black skin doesn't equal good intentions and good morals and morally superior, or you have it worse off. And another beautiful example of that, and I've talked about this on like every episode for the last fucking 5 episodes, but brown people do horrible shit everywhere in the world all the fucking time because humans do horrible shit.
As do white people, as do black people, as do Asian people, everybody.
Right. And we're not seeing stories of that because you're fucking douchebags, because you're white guilt, and ultimately because the white fucking executives who have the money behind this and the Jews who are writing this want more of your money. They know the woke angle is going to get them is going to rake them in a lot of money. You're being fucking played. Stop making movies like that.
That's the thing is when they talk about, these black people on CNN and stuff, well, who do you think put them on? It's the white executives who knew people on CNN, those people are cast very deliberately. They know what they're going to say.
Oh, yes.
It's like they've got their hand up their ass just going like this.
Right. Companies don't make decisions because they care. No. Companies make decisions because it's in the best interest of the company. Companies make decisions because we're going to get money by doing X or by not doing X. That's why companies will fold when it came to James Gunn and the tweets came out. That's why Disney was like, fuck him. And then all of a sudden there was so much of a backlash. Now it's going to hurt us financially to not have him direct it. So we'll make the other decision. They flip-flop because it's not and I don't want a company to make believe that they're not humans. They're humans too. You know what I mean? Like, it's just I want them to make decisions based on capitalism. Yeah, but like at the same time,
you said a decade ago, it's like there's nothing that would appease these people.
Right.
It's just they're just so dishonest. These people are just the scum of the earth.
Patrice O'Neal, my favorite comic of all time.
Yeah.
He said over and over, and I talk about Patrice almost every episode because I just love that motherfucker. And he said, when a bully gets your money today, he doesn't come back tomorrow and say, hey, thanks for the money. He wants fucking more, because that's in humans. Once you get that, we're all of us have victim and bully. All of us have it. We all have weird shit in our lives, and we all have hurt other people in our lives. Sometimes legitimately in school, being both the victim of bullying on one end, and then with another group of people, you are the bully. But we all have that in our animal gut, and to make believe that we don't is horrible, I think, and it just makes us feel separate. And the goal, I think, of what we're doing here, and the goal of what you're doing, the goal of the walk away, is to connect motherfuckers. Ultimately, it may be on paper as different, but I think really when you humanize conservatives who are black, who are gay, who are trans, you're now connecting more of us. You know
well,
what I
it's
mean?
just so shocking to me that these scumbags don't see the bigotry in demanding that all black people think alike, and all gay people think alike, and all women think alike. They're the biggest fucking bigots of all.
Right. Yeah, it's horrible.
Do you have a cigarette, by the way?
I do.
Can I bum one?
Yeah. I think we have to stop anyway.
Oh, we do? I'm sorry. I didn't mean that to. I thought
do you
we
want to smoke a cigarette in here?
We can if you want.
All right, we're gonna smoke a cigarette on live.
Don't
I'm
you
a
bitches
horrible
come
person.
at me that okay, I'm having one
Listen,
cheat.
technically, he did quit.
Wait, sorry. Can I just pause 1 second? My contact is falling out. Sorry.
Oh my God.
1 second. Cut this out.
I'm not gonna cut that out. Do you have a place to put ashes?
Yeah. 1 second.
Okay. You should all go buy my album. I have songs about Mexican prostitutes. I have songs about death. People say it's like Jack Black meets Jeff Buckley. So like some of the songs are very funny and tongue-in-cheek. Some of them are kind of like over the top, kind of soft and soaring. I don't know. I like doing weird shit.
You need a light?
No, I have it.
Okay, don't you bitches... Oh, wait. Don't you bitches come at me. I quit, but I've had like a couple little cheat ones. I was like a pack and a half a day, so one is fine, right? Thank you.
I apologize.
These people stress me out with their fucking like transitioning children and shit here, by the way.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Don. Ah, fresh air.
Dude, I really, especially being a singer and being a podcaster, I need my voice technically for life. But I'm telling you, cigarettes are just delicious. If you've never, if you've never done it before, don't fucking do not, because they are tasty.
I'm at almost 2 months though, and I've had maybe like 5 or 6 the whole time. So
That's pretty good. Once
all people are gonna get so pissed at me.
Once I break the seal for me, like fucking.
Well, that's why I feel like maybe I'm like solid with it because I can just have one. That's it.
And my hat's off to you if that's the case. But
I hope so. I mean, I'm at 2 months almost. So.
Right. No, I can't do it. Right. Yeah, I don't know. But I like the connections that have been happening, and you're one of those. I think I'm going to be interviewing Remy Casimir, who's this comedian connected to kind of the New York scene. She told me that she's a bleeding heart liberal, but like I don't care. Like I'll have them all on the show. I don't care.
That's the thing. I'm all about like unless somebody has like some outrageous beliefs, you shouldn't judge people for their fucking political views.
Right.
And I love, by the way, I love the title of this show because I feel like it perfectly describes me because I don't really think I'm a conservative.
Right.
But I'm conservatish. I like that.
Yeah, I just think
That's
like
what I call myself.
I always say like one of the taglines of the show is can't I like gays and guns? Like can't I like
Same.
Can't I be down for a trans person to live as a trans person but also defend my right to say nigger or be a little sketchy about abortion?
Yeah.
You know, I really that's one of those things that I thought for years. I knew I liked free speech and I knew I liked jokes. But I never thought I would be like some kind of pro-life.
Well, I think
I say kind of because I still feel like, hey, if you really want to whatever, I don't feel like it would be smart of us to really legislate no fucking abortion at all. But I also feel like tell it like it is.
I also feel like personally, I feel like you straights got to fucking figure this shit out on your own. I want nothing to do with it. But I would say for me, I would say that I'm pro-choice for the first half and pro-life for the second half.
Yeah, I feel like the first trimester is a good kind of cutoff.
I feel like that's sort of, in my opinion, I hear the screaming already in the comments, but I feel like that's before personhood really begins.
I mean, on paper though, I do feel like it does begin at conception at the same time.
Well, on paper, yeah.
You know, to go back to the old Patrice, he said like, "Kill your baby, bitch. I don't give a fuck." But like, you know, it is a baby. Like it is a separate body living inside your body. It's not. Men wanna legislate women's bodies. Nah, dude. Like maybe back in the 50s, maybe back in the exactly. It's we don't like that other separate, completely different DNA living inside your belly is going to be killed. That's the thing.
And it's being taken so lightly.
Sorry.
You have things like shout your abortion and.
Right.
I mean, I knew this girl, and when they say, because it's like you said that they act like all women are good, and they're not, because all people are not good. All men are not good.
Right. I've had multiple women on the show who know women who lied about rape.
Jesus, I feel like they should get the same sentence that the rapist would get.
Oh wait, was it lied about being pregnant?
Oh, well,
that's different.
I don't know, but
Sorry,
no, but I know this girl who's
go listen to the first Good Girl episode.
But they say, oh, women don't just have abortions willy nilly. Yeah, some of them do. I know one girl who's my age and has had 7 pregnancies and 5 abortions. Like, you should just lose your right at that point. It's like buy one, get one.
The women who I posted about that. I used to do this thing called conservative opinion or controversial opinion Wednesdays, and I posted about how weird I feel. And I always, unlike this show, I try to manage and write and rewrite and think about and let it sit and then rewrite again what I'm going to post that is controversial, because I don't want to be be whatever. You get what I'm fucking saying. But one of the things I posted about was I hate this weird feeling like I'm turning kind of pro-life. It feels weird to me because I don't, you know what I mean? Like I never thought I was. And only 2 women posted angrily. But both of them, it wasn't really angrily. They're friends of mine. They have stayed friends of mine. And they said, listen, I've had abortions and I didn't want to. And I think one was for choice. One was for medical reasons. And ultimately, even though we fought a little bit, or there was a little anger on their first comments, both of them came down to the fact that, okay, you know what? Because my only thing was, I don't want to be told that I can't have an opinion just because I have a dick.
Yeah.
And I also don't. And I also know that it is a separate life. And both of them were like, even though I'm super pro-choice, both of the women, they're super pro-choice. They're also like, number one, I don't want your opinion to be taken away just because you have a penis. And number 2, it was a horrible experience because it is a separate life. It wasn't a joyful experience.
Yeah.
It wasn't a shout your abortion because I wish I had an abortion, fucking stupid ass Lena Dunham. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, that's the
who
thing.
would fuck
I think
that
that's,
bitch anyway? Let's be fucking
disgusting.
real. Let's be fucking real.
Ugh. But I think that's what matters is we can disagree about when it's okay and when personhood begins and stuff like that. But I feel like there are certain things that we should all be able to agree on, that abortion a week before you give birth is fucking wrong.
Right.
And I think that just goes to show how radical everything is right now, that I think a lot of people don't realize that the things that they're supporting, this isn't liberalism, this isn't leftism, this is radical leftism.
Right.
The things that they're pushing for are insane.
Right. To be a legit ass libertarian, you would want libertarian rights for that child as well.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's true. Like I said, for me, I have mixed feelings on it, but I think, like I said, I think the things that are being pushed for, there's just no, like, I've been wondering lately, I'm like, what could the left push for today that other leftists would say, oh no, that's a bridge too far? I can't think of anything.
It takes
Pedophilia
a special.
I don't think they would.
It takes a special kind of bullshit.
Where, I've actually seen that happen where I posted on Facebook that they had 2 different TED Talks of some, I forget what their title was, but some like accredited person, a physician or something, the board of something, saying that pedophilia is a natural sexual orientation. Right. And I literally got into fights with people about that who agreed with that. So I'm like, what would be too far for them?
Now,
because
I feel like
what's too far left. That's something Jordan Peterson said.
I feel like it does happen naturally, but I feel like we should separate those people. Like I feel like often, sometimes it's because of
abuse or something.
Abuse. Sometimes it's because these people, like they do that thing that most addicts do, where it's just like, I want the bad, and so they go back to it and they try to see how far they can go, and they get caught. You know what I mean? But often it's because they're just psychopaths and they're detached from, and so we should separate those people. I'm not saying we
or I would even go further than that, and I would say that by all means they should get help, and but to say it is a natural sexual orientation, fuck no.
Right.
And it's just pushing the line and when you have that compounded with all of this creepy shit going on with children, it just seems like there's never a fucking limit.
Right. There's only been a couple of people who have.
It's delightful, by the way.
Welcome.
Oh my god, I love you.
Isn't cancer delicious? But and we'll start wrapping up. But one of the things, it does take a special kind of person on the left to say, you know what, this is a little too far. And even though I really don't like Sarah Silverman anymore, at least she was willing to say, you know what, Louis C.K. is my friend, and I let him jerk off in front of me a couple of times, and it wasn't that big a fucking deal. You know what I mean? She defended him. It takes a separate...
Was that really the worst thing anyone's ever fucking done, what he did? You know? I mean, I've probably...
Weinstein's fucking worse. Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Oh, those people...
That's different. That's
cancel
actual,
those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Right. But like Louis C.K., Shane Gillis, you know, all these people who are just making jokes or thinking that they're like Aziz Ansari, who thinks that everything's going okay, but it turns out it isn't. There's a big difference between the intention of that and the intention of a Harvey Weinstein.
That fucking Aziz Ansari thing pissed me off so goddamn much because in her thing that she wrote, that cunt, that thing she wrote, she said it was the worst night of her life. It was the worst experience she's ever had with a guy. And as someone who's had to date guys, if that's your worst experience, count your fucking blessings, you stupid slut. That's the worst experience she's ever... That wouldn't even be top 50 for me if that happened to me.
If you don't want... We really got to stop. But what's the worst one you've had?
Worst date? Or the guy? Oh, my God. The guy who brought a machete and tried to stab me. The time I had to hide in a bomb shelter.
Jesus.
The guy who asked me to draw a face on his penis and put on a puppet show.
Wow.
The guy who started smoking crystal meth in front of me. Oh my God. This
bless
guy.
his heart.
This guy was like that I had met, and he seemed totally normal and shit, and like worked in finance and shit. It's always those motherfuckers. And then he was like, "Want to come watch a movie?" I'm like, "Yeah, cool." So we're watching a movie at his apartment, and he's like, "Oh, do you mind if I smoke?" I was like, "Ooh, we could smoke in here. Wonderful." So I'm thinking he means cigarettes or maybe weed. He pulls out this like balloon-looking thing, and I'm like, "What is that?" And just totally casually, he goes, "Crystal meth." I'm like, "Oh, crystal meth. Yeah. Of course it is."
Yeah.
And that's the thing I've really noticed lately. And that's the thing, how the alphabet soup people refuse to acknowledge any actual problems facing LGBT people or gay people. Because I've really noticed lately, if you look on Tinder or any app, any like gay dating apps, it seems like half of them are on meth. And I've talked about it with other gay people I know, and everyone is like, yeah, it's like a fucking epidemic. Nobody will talk about that. No. We have to be focused on, microaggressions from straight people.
Right. And, or, same thing with the black community. Let's not talk about how, you know, there were fucking, 100 murders up until this point in Chicago over the last year of blacks on blacks. No, let's talk about the 3 who were gunned down by white police officers, which out of those 3, there's probably 2 of them that are kind of understandable, or there was a misunderstanding, or there was a whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. Anyway.
It's ridiculous, but that's how they make their income. If we all just got along, it's the truth.
It is
true. If we all just got along,
it's true.
They would be out of business.
Right.
They don't want
especially
equality,
news organizations.
They don't want rights. They don't want anything.
Right.
They just want to make more money.
Right.
And their product is victimhood. Identity is their snake oil.
Right. Their product is, I'm going to make people who read this headline feel a certain way. They're going to feel angry. And because of that anger, they're going to click and they're going to share. We're going to get more clicks and we can charge more for advertising.
Yeah. I mean, they just wrote, what were they? I forgot what the name is. But one of these big LGBT media outlets just wrote a hit piece on us. And they literally said in it that Blair advocates for killing immigrants at the border.
I read that, yeah.
And they said about me, the best they could find was they dug up a tweet that I just like impulsively wrote at like 2 a.m. where, that's Senator Kristen Sinema. I said she reminds me of a hooker. She's the one with the thigh-high boots and the... She reminds me of a hooker. From one hookery-looking bitch to
Thank
another.
you.
No,
that was my favorite. That was my favorite defense that you wrote. Was that like I look like a hooker?
Yeah,
What do you
I
fucking
didn't say it was a bad thing. Like I like her more because of it.
Right.
But they wrote Mike Harlow, who has said that Kristen Cinema looks like a hooker, and I'm like, remember when gay people were funny? Remember when gay people had a sense of humor and were about comedy and art? We've gone from being we've gone from being the community of Truman Capote and Andy Warhol to being the people who protest a fucking chicken sandwich.
Right.
And like any gay community where a fucking homo can't make fun of a bitch's thigh-high boots is not a gay community I want any part of. Thank you.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's start wrapping up. Where can people find you?
Not on Twitter, that's for sure.
Right.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's just my name. Mike Harlow, Mike like Tyson, Harlow like Gene. I'm on Facebook, just my name. I'm on Instagram, Sleepy Harlow.
I like that.
Thank you. You got it. People are like, "What? You're tired?" I don't get. I'm like,
Do you have any event coming up that you want to promote?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Thank you.
Of course.
We don't have a date yet, but I will have a date soon, hopefully. So somebody needs to stand up to these motherfuckers because what's been really depressing for me is something like, I in many ways am not fond of Milo. However, I've really come to see how with certain things he was spot fucking on that once you're banned from something, everybody disconnects, and all the people that we think are on our side, all the people that we think we're part of this community with, fuck them. They are cowards. I've had so many people who have big followings that have just totally stopped speaking to me since I've been banned. Will not return my calls, will not return my messages, will not speak up a word. And I can't wait. Like, they're going to be the next ones to be banned. Mark my words, in the next year with the election coming up, you are going to see people get banned that you would have never thought would get banned. The Tim Pools, the Dave Rubins, the most milquetoast fucking people. True.
I like Dave. I like that.
But it's true. But and we'll see if other people stand up. Sorry, my hair is in my mouth. We'll see if people stand up for them. But so anyway, so yeah, it's been really depressing to see the complacency of people on this issue. I mean, Google, if you watch the Project Veritas videos, Google and YouTube, the executives from there are on tape saying that they are rigging their algorithms to prevent Trump from being reelected. It's on YouTube. Go watch it.
Right.
So I think people either don't realize or don't care how dire the situation is. They just want to protect their own image and their own. That's the thing. I never set out to do this. I totally just fell into this. I never intended, I'm going to go out and talk about these things, but I just feel the need to. So anyway, sorry.
No, it's okay.
That's a very long way to say that I am having an event in New York, the Rally Against Social Media Censorship. It will be in front of the Twitter headquarters. You should totally come.
I'm definitely coming.
Awesome. It'll probably be like early mid-November. I'm going to figure out the date in the next day or two. But if you guys are watching, please come. I'll have information on Facebook and YouTube and everywhere. So hopefully you can make it a big thing and make some noise. And really,
I'll share about it as well on my social media.
Thank you. So yeah, hopefully we can get the message out because the line keeps moving to the center. And, I think I'm probably the most centrist person to be banned from YouTube. Or, God forbid, to be banned from Twitter. That'll be next.
Right.
But, yeah, so I think, they started with people like Alex Jones and Milo because it's easy to get people. Oh, it's just Alex Jones. It's just Milo. They had it coming. But that line was quickly moving to the center. And eventually there will be nobody left.
Right.
So we got to stand up against these fuckers.
We'll definitely be doing it. And I'll be there recording and getting in the middle of things. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano. You can support my podcast and music by going and buying the album or streaming it, you cocksuckers. Or by signing up at patreon.com/conservatish, or you can just Venmo me if you want at Peter-Feliciano.
Me too.
What's your Venmo?
Mikey Harlow.
There you go. And you can also, what else? Subscribe right now. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe thing.
If you like my content and want to see more of it, subscribe and hit that bell below.
I hate it, but I have to.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that father who abused his kids on YouTube?
No.
You never saw that? Oh my God, this father would abuse the shit out of his kids, and they had a YouTube channel, and he would make the kid record all the stuff at the end. So he'd be abusing the kid, and the kid would be hysterically crying, and the father is hulking over him, and he's like, say the outro. And the kid is there in hysterics if you like our content and want to see more, subscribe to our channel, us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you like
I should
It's
get that.
great.
I should have a son just so that I can beat him to.
Maybe
Anyway.
puppies. We can kick them. And
Yeah, head crushing videos. That's next on Conservatish. Anyway,
Aren't
thank
you glad
very
you watched?
much. Thank you very much for coming
Thanks
on
so
the
much
show.
for having me, dude.
Love y'all. Bye.